Good morning, my wonderful friends. Magus with you on a beautiful day in Austin. Oh my God, just the feeling I've been having the last couple of days of absolute love for you guys, for Source. Just magical things are happening. What an exciting time to be alive. And so I thought today, you know what, let's just pull some cards and see what message we get from Spirit. Four of Swords. My friends, you don't realize this. Before I turn on the camera, I riffle shuffle these, hand shuffle these. Then when I'm just sitting here talking, I'm just hand shuffling. But this card comes up every time. That is the message to the Order of the Magi for sure. We've talked about that so many times. Let's pull another one. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this today. My friends, your religion should answer certain questions like, what happens after you die? What is death? What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Who is God? Who am I? And thank God Zoroastrianism answers all those questions. We have the death card here. And I want you to know that by the end of this video, you're going to find peace about this subject. So I'm going to ask, more than any of my other videos, please stay to the end of this because of the touchy subject matter. And let me get to the end of it. And I guarantee you by the end, you will understand what happens after you die, what death is. And you're not going to fear it because in truth, there's no death and there's no loss. There's no loss. There's no loss. I want you to get that, my friends. There's no separation ever from your God or from your family and friends. And I want you to think about this two ways today. If you are dying or if someone you love or know is dying. My friends, all transition is moving from time-space, outside time-space, to complete and utter alignment with unconditional love, peace, joy, kindness. My friends, we come from Source, good spirit, unconditional love and peace. We're made of that in truth. That divine spark that is inside of you is that, and you're going to return to that when you leave here. And my friends, can I share some stories with you? Will you stay with me for a little bit? I want you to understand that when a loved one leaves you, or you leave the earth first, you become closer than you were before. I think we worry because maybe with our senses that we're used to, touch and sight, our ears, that we don't feel connected that way. But my friends, you become closer. Not only are they now around you, they are in you. And a great story to describe this was the first time that I really heard from God. And let me share this story with you. I got a couple of stories I want to share. And even if you heard them before, stay with me so I can bring this together. When I was a young man, I had a wonderful friend that I loved very much. And I was many, many miles away. And she was walking to work. And she was almost abducted. And I was in a car with my dad, at least 30, 40 miles away. And God spoke to me and told me to pray. And this is the first time I had like that back and forth conversation with God. And I said, what is it? Is it Mom? And he said, no. And then he said the name of the person that I needed to pray for. And so I started praying, my friends, praying for protection. And I prayed in my language of angels. And then Spirit told me everything is fine. It's good. And so I actually looked at the clock in the car to see what time it was. So when I got home, because we didn't have cell phones at this time, I'm getting old, I was going to ask this person what happened, that God would actually speak to me and have a conversation. And so I did. When I got home that evening or afternoon, whatever it was, I asked her, I said, what happened that God would speak to me so clearly? And she actually got tears in her eyes. And she told me she was walking to work and a car pulled over and they're trying to abduct her. And they actually said, grab her, and were harassing her. And she called out on the name of the Lord. And she says they actually froze like statues. And my friends, a few things hit me about that, but what I'm getting here for this time is that I remember it was so close that God seemed like my own thoughts, and I realized I've talked to God before, but I just kind of thought of it. It was so close. It wasn't outside of me like a big booming voice that I thought when God would speak to me. It was almost like thinking to myself, but it was, I could tell it was God. And that's, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it is with our loved ones, my friends. They actually become a part of you, like your own thoughts. They're your own guide, your own guardian angel. It's the Fravashi that we talk about. Can I share something with you? It's funny, we've been talking about this. Where is that? Here's the bag I keep my cards in, and I have all my incense and little sacred items. And in it I keep, where are you? Here it is, a white feather. And we've been talking about this last couple of days. And it represents our guardian angels, the Fravashi. It's about the souls that have come before us, the souls that are here now, and the souls that come after us. We're all connected. There's no separation. When you get outside time, space, you realize that, and you feel that connection, and you become even closer, you know. It might seem silly to some people, but I still miss my dog Cody. I think about him all the time, but I still have that connection. I can't pet his fur, and do I miss that? Yes, I do. But I still feel so connected to him, and when I'm out on a walk, I feel his presence with me. I feel the presence of Zarathustra and of Jesus and of our wonderful friends that have moved on out of time, space. And I want to think of the Four of Swords now in context of this in a little different way. You'll notice he's lying there in a tomb, and it's okay to think about these things, to think about what happens to us after death. And I think it brings peace. And can I tell another story? I'll tell you what helped me when I was a young man, because I had a fear of death when I was younger, like I think many of us do. And I used to be really into fish tanks. And, and like everything I do, I overdo it. So I started with like a little 10-gallon tank, and then I kept upgrading. And every time I'd upgrade, I had the same fish. It was an Oscar named Freddy. I called him Freddy Krueger because he'd always poke me with his fins. He got huge. He lived so long, but he was a great friend of mine. But as I took him from the 5-gallon tank to the 10-gallon tank, to the 20-gallon tank, to the 50-gallon tank, to the 100-gallon tank, to the 200-gallon tank, he would fight me every time. I mean, he would tear up his tank fighting, knocking everything over. Sometimes he would jump out of the tank, flopping around, and I'd have to pick him up, and he'd poke me, you know, and I wanted him to know there's nothing to be scared of. Everything he wants that is better is in this new tank. He's going to be just so blessed when I get them to that new tank. And I think that's what people do. They fight transition. They're scared of what they call death. My friends, there's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to fear. It's almost like all we have to do is just trust Spirit. And all we're doing is just, we're going downstream. We're going with the flow to get to everything we want. There's nothing we have to do. Full bliss, full power is awaiting us no matter what. We can't screw it up. And we're going to be so much closer to our loved ones than you ever dreamed possible. You're going to be in that complete oneness with your good, with your God, with your loved ones. There's no death. There's no separation. I want to read from Asha. I'm thinking of Asha 8 and Asha 12 come to mind. Are you guys still with me? I hope this is being helpful here. Listen to this. The perfect Creator's perfect mind created a perfect thought. I am that thought. I am perfect spirit. I choose not to be double-minded. I choose to think God and not the lie. I am perfect spirit, God's child thought. And spirit makes body form. Therefore, my body is perfect and my world is perfect. And here's the part I really want you to get. On a subconscious level, in the heart of hearts, I live in truth, and the lie of discord disappears. The spell of separation is broken, because in truth, all is good, all is God. The spell of separation is broken. You cannot be separated from your good, your God, or your loved ones. And you're actually, when you make that transition, become even closer. My friends, if people understood what death is, I'm afraid all my wonderful friends would start smoking and driving recklessly. And I don't want that. You came here for a purpose, my friends, to enjoy this beautiful life, to enjoy love, and to enjoy raising the vibration of the earth. It's a beautiful thing, but it's more beautiful on the other side. Asha 12. We got to talk about that. Stay with me. Okay. I'm just going to go to the end. It says, I realize there's no separation from my good, my God. We are one. Realize there is no separation from your good, your God, from your loved ones. You are one. You are inside of each other. All the truth and happiness I am looking for is here right now. I am that. I am. Good is, God is. My friends, it's funny, I heard one time, if you knew what death really was, you wouldn't threaten your enemies with it because it's all bliss, all love, all joy, all peace. If people realized it, it would end all wars because they didn't want to make people stay here, and raise the evolution of the earth and get things right, karma, and work through it all. My friends, do not fear death. And the wonderful friends in the order of the Magi that have gone before us, they're still with us, and they're working with us on the other side in full power, full strength, guiding us and leading us. And how blessed we are. We will always be together. And know I love you, I love you, I love you. If this was helpful, please let me know in the comments. We'll see you next time.